السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. This is the second lecture in our class of Usool al-Fiqh, and what we talked about in the first one was the definition of Usool al-Fiqh. We went over Usool and we went over Fiqh, and in a nutshell we said Usool are the rules and al-fiqh are the rulings. So we have rules on which we can extract, or by which we can extract the rulings, and the rulings are the فقه الطهارة, فقه العبادات, فقه في المعاملات, العقود, everything. But how do we get to these rulings? We have the rules, and these rules are extracted as well from it's a back and forth methodology, because what happened is that Sahaba, Tabi'in, Tabi'in, they all were looking at ayat and hadith mainly, and they saw patterns that are common in ayat and hadith. Some of them were clear and obvious on the rulings, and some of them needed to be extracted somehow. So they developed this mental framework on which we are going to discuss in detail. First, we are going to talk about all the how it's divided, and we're going to go over it in detail, which is the science of Usul Fiqh. And then after they looked at the ayat and hadith, Shafi'i came and put all these rules all together in a risala, and of course when he did that, it wasn't the final. It was his way to show, and that's why you find in the risala it's all based ayat and hadith based, because this is how they got these methods and rules. Then they ulama came and kept developing and looking into those things that are not clear and obvious, and started to develop more things. So they came to ijma' and then to qiyas, and then they looked at the language, because actually this Shafi'i started with the language, because understanding the language itself is how you can the language in terms of being the word and whatever implications a text can give in different way, because implications, as we can see, is going to form a good size of how these rules were extracted. When we look at the word usul as on the screen, usul Ahl al-Sunnah in nazar wal-istidlal means in extracting and refining and deducting. The word usul can, in the sense of usul and related science, it can be actually it can be understood in two or three ways. We have, if we look up a deen, the religion is, what is our religion based on, or divided to its asl, it's the root, the base. أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء. So الأصل الدين كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت, which is the root on the ground. It is ثابت. It is constant, and it is grabbing hard into the soil. It's like the root of the screen, or of the tree. So أصلها ثابت, which is التوحيد. What is this أصل of الشجرة? الشجرة is like الدين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave المثال like الدين. أصلها ثابت, توحيد. This is ثابت. This is constant. It doesn't change. Tawheed doesn't change, and it is for all Anbiya, for salawatullah alayhim, and the all the all so أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء. الأصل الدين is أصل وفروع. الأصل is the Tawheed, and it is constant. It never changed. All أنبياء came with Tawheed. نحن معاشر الأنبياء ديننا واحد. ولقد بعثنا في كل أمة رسولا أن اعبدوا الله واجتنبوا الطاغوت. الفروع branches, because any tree أصلها ثابت وفرعها. إذن there are فروع, branches. The فروع are the أحكام الشرعية, the rulings of Sharia in different, and these rulings differ from Sharia to Sharia. لكل جعلنا منكم شرعة ومنهاجا. Every one of you of the Ummah has its own shir'ah and minhaj and methodology. There are common things, of course, between all the shara'i', but the details of every sharia, like siyam for at the time of Sayyidina Ibrahim, of Sayyidina Isa, قال إني نذرت للرحمن صوما فلن أكلم اليوم إنسيا. الصيام was from talking at their time. You don't talk. But for us, الصيام is don't eat. So تختلف الفروع. So that's where the كلمة فروع came from. أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء. If we look at this usul, we say that there are related to the usul fiqh, there are three fields that can be called usul, and we need to distinguish between them so we don't get confused. Usul al-fiqh, where we are studying قواعد الشريعة. قواعد الشريعة is علم القواعد, قواعد الكلية. There are قواعد كلية and there are قواعد الكبرى وفي القواعد الصغرى. And this is a separate science, and they are the rules that governs the فروع. Of course, usul fiqh are the rules govern فروع, but from another sense. And maybe we will discuss this sense, the different sense between usul al-fiqh and القواعد الفقهية, but we just mentioned this for now. And there is usul, means these two usul actually serve the main purpose of usul, which is to reach مقاصد الشريعة. مقاصد الشريعة, the aims and goals of Sharia. So these are the fields that the word usul can be related to when we study usul al-fiqh. If we want to talk about usul al-fiqh, we talked before, guys, about two schools. And we said there is the school of Shafi'iyya, following Shafi'i, and and المتكلمين, and we said الشافعية والمتكلمين, why they are together, because most of الشافعية, after الشافعي, a lot of them, I wouldn't say all of them, but many of them were متكلمون of علم الكلام. So they went deep into أصول الفقه. So they called their school مدرسة الشافعية والمتكلمون, the school of الشافعية and المتكلمون. And it is based on having the rule and then give examples throughout their explanation of this rule. مدرسة الأحناف, the school of الحنفية, مدرسة الأحناف, the school of أحناف, is based on the rulings on الفقه. So their books go with the line up with the books of fiqh. So they talk about tahara, and then what are they get all the adilla of tahara, and then they extract whatever in these things and relate it to these adilla, to these hadith and ayat, and they say, oh, this is the rule here, this is the rule for this, and this is the rule. So they extract the rules based on al-fiqh to start with. So these are the two opposite ways. Of course, the way of the Ahnaf is much harder, because it needs you, in order to study Usool al-Fiqh based on the rulings, knowing the fiqh, you need to know all the fiqh first, and then you can work with them on getting on understanding the rules that are extracted from it. Al-Shafi'iyya is easier because they did this thing for you. They extracted the rulings, they put it, and then you just give examples on it. So these are the two. Most of the books of the contemporary books is based on the Shafi'iyya. The books Abdul Karim Zidan, Abu Zahra, Abdul Wahab Khalaf, and almost all the contemporary books. And when I put my book, this book, مفتاح الدخول إلى علم الأصول, I also, of course, I went with this system, because it is how we learned usul fiqh in the first place. الشافعية والمتكلمون, they developed a framework for usul fiqh that is common between them. Of course, some of them used a little bit different like sections, not necessarily what I have here, but it is the most common sections, like in al-Mustasfa. He started his book with like a whole volume about the or juz, big chapter about mantiq and this and hadd and stuff, and this mantiq like discussion, and then he divided it into thamarat. There is a thamara. There is a thamara means the fruit of the section, and then like he divided it to four parts. But anyway, on what we are going to discuss, we have usul fiqh. I divided it here to 5 sections. The first section is is al-Hakim, the legislator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Under the legislator, we are going to discuss the moral goodness and evil. At-tahsin wa taqbih means seeing the good in things on its own without before Sharia. And taqbih means seeing the evil and the bad in things without looking at Sharia. Like to steal is bad. Whether it came in Sharia is bad or not, it's always bad stealing. To save the person who is drowning is good in all human fitra without needing of Sharia. So we talk about tahsin wa taqbih, and we talk about the intellect / reason and the revelation. What is the relationship between al-aql wa al-naql? Al-aql, intellect and reasoning, and the revelation. What is the relationship? How do they work together? And which is like should be looked should be the first to come or the first to consider. If they oppose each other, normally, like Ibn Taymiyyah say, they never oppose each other, because whoever say that they oppose each other, he simply either not having the right aql or having the correct naql, but they never split, they never conflict. There is a conflict between them, between al-aql and naql. And he has his great book which is called Dar' Ta'arud al-aql wal naql. The dar' means to defending against the conflict between reasoning, aql, intellect, and between revelation or naql. So this is al-Hakim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, also al-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why? Because Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, actually his words are wahi, and studying his sunnah is part of al-wahi, his as we are going to see in section 3. So Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-Hakim, al-Ijma', which is al-Ijma', why we put it here, because al-Ijma' is we are going to talk about, I don't want to say what it is now, but anyways, this comes under al-Hakim. Of course, al-Hakim is under Allah wa Rasuluh, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate Hakim, and Rasul salam is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revelation to him is they discuss Rasul under this, and al-Ijma' under both of them, because al-Ijma' cannot happen without having a ayah or hadith. It can't happen without. It's not something that is not dependent on ayah or hadith. The second section, so the first section al-Haq, the second section Usool Fiqh discusses is Ahkam al-Shara', the legal rulings. Ahkam al-Shara', they are divided to two major sections. The sections of al-Hukm al-Shara'i, Aqsam al-Hukm al-Shara'i, the sections of Hukm al-Shara'i, and the proofs of al-Hukm al-Shara'i, of the ruling. So this legal, there are two categories, Aqsam. One of them is al-Ahkam. When we look at the categories, we find divided again to two. One is al-Ahkam, is the category of taklifiyya, means the obligatory things, or prescriptive. The prescriptive things, not obligatory in terms of wajib. It's here not exactly obligatory. It's whatever Allah, taklifi means whatever Allah asked us to do, whether he asked us firmly, obligated us, or recommended, or allowed us. So taklif here, not obligatory. This is not a very precise translation to taklifi, but it means that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us to follow in either of the 5 terms: the obligatory, the recommended, the allowed, the disliked, the forbidden. So Allah gave us or obligated on us to follow these 5 sections of that category. There is another category opposed on the other side. It's not opposed, on the other side of this division, which is the al-ahkam al-wad'iyya, declaratory or casual rulings. What are these casual or declaratory? They consist of five things: السبب, the cause; الشرط, the condition; المانع, preventer; الرخصة والعزيمة, concession and resoluteness; الصحة والبطلان, validity and invalidity أو nullity. So these are the 5 أحكام وضعية. So under الحكم الشرعي in أصول الفقه we discuss 2 categories, 2 sections, أقسام, the sections and the proofs. Under the section there are 2 categories: the تكليفية, which we call the obligation from Allah for us to follow, and there are 5: obligatory, recommended, allowed, hated or disliked, and then the forbidden. And the other category is وضعية, which الأحكام الوضعية, which is declaratory or casual, which have 5: سبب, cause, condition, and the preventer, the concession and resoluteness, and the الرخصة والعزيمة, والصحة والبطلان, validity and invalidity or nullity. This is the first section, which is أقسام الحكم الشرعي. The proofs of الحكم الشرعي, these are the ones that many people know about, or they hear. Many people actually hear these things, which are where do we go to extract those أحكام, the wajib and the mandub and the mubah and the makruh and the haram. Where do we go to extract, and where we can observe السبب and الشرط and المانع and الرخصة والعزيمة and الصحة والبطلان? Where do we go to get the obligatory and the recommended and the allowed and disliked and the forbidden? And where do we go to actually where can we observe the second category, which is the cause and the condition and the preventer and the rukhsa wal azima, the concession and the resoluteness, and the validity and invalidity, الصحة والبطلان. Where do we go? And these proofs are Al-Quran. These proofs, normally they are about 11. In many books, some people went up to 19 in some of books of Usool Fiqh. But I here in this book, I chose the most common and the most agreed upon Adilla Shar'iyya. There are some people who omitted some of the one or two of them, either became like like out of Ahl Sunnah with this, or they are within Ahl Sunnah but they omitted it only in name, but the use of it actually is embedded in under another proof. And we are going to discuss when we discuss all these proofs in detail, we will know which Imam said which about each of these proofs. And these proofs here are Al-Quran, Kitab, As-Sunnah, Sunnah and Ijma', consensus, Al-Qiyas, deduction, the saying of the Sahabi, of the follower, and al-istihsan, equitable preference, al-maslaha al-mursala, the unrestricted public interest, المصالح المرسلة, al-istishab, presumption of continuity, شرع من قبلنا, laws of previous nations, سد الذرائع, preventing of the means, al-urf, customs, and the custom of Ahl al-Madinah specifically in the madhab of Malik. The custom of Ahl al-Madinah specifically in madhab of Malik. So, like I said, there are some of them, they didn't namely put these, like al-istihsan. Al-Shafi'i completely opposed this word istihsan, didn't use it at all. Some they didn't use sadd al-zara'i', blocking of the means, but we will discuss that in the. Then we go to so we now covered the two al-hakim and al-hukm al-shar'i. المحكوم عليه أو المكلف. المحكوم عليه. What is المحكوم عليه? The subject of the ruling, which is us. محكوم عليه, المكلف. The legally responsible individual, which is the مكلف. When we discuss the legally responsible individual, let me just say this, guys, here. You have to understand that when we study Usool Fiqh, we're studying law, because these are all law, like in the faculty of law, this is what they study, but they study it related to the man-made. So if you understand this, the law is going to be very much in hand for you, close. You understand lots of its definitions and rules. So the subject of the ruling is the legally responsible individual, al-mukallaf. And when we talk about al-mukallaf, we talk about ahliyat al-mukallaf. Al-ahliyah means the legal capacity. So we study the legal capacity of the responsible individual, the individual who can be subject to a ruling. There are two main sides of this subjectivity of the ahliyah, the capacity, the legal capacity. There is the legal capacity to perform, which is ahliyah, capacity for performance, ahliyat al-ada'. I can do. It discusses if I can do or not. Like this, like they discuss al-janeen, the in the womb. What is the ahkam al-janeen? How do you do the yatim, the orphans? They discuss the capacity of the performance. The small girl to marry or not to marry, things related to mirath about the young. أهلية الوجوب with the capacity for obligation, which is أهلية الوجوب, whether I can be talked by these rulings or not? Am I adult enough? Do I have the conditions that can make me subject to these rulings or not? So one of them أهلية الأداء, can I do it or not? And the other one is can it be talked to me? Can it be talk to me? So they are the two sides of the coin, أهلية الأداء and أهلية الوجوب. The third part they discuss under the subject of ruling the legally responsible individual mukallaf is the impediments of legal capacity, because there are things that can impede and restrict the legal capacity of a person, and these things are two impediments. One is عوارض جبلية, inherited barriers. It's what someone was born with, inherited. He cannot do anything about it. Like العمى, he is blind, so he has certain rules. هناك عوارض مكتسبة, acquired impediment. Acquired means it is actually done to you, or you do it, or it happened to you, but not due to inherited things. It's not like inherited barriers. It's like insanity. Someone become insane one day, or a temporary insanity, like being drunk, like over drunk. They call it can be insanity, like temporary insanity, and they discuss what are the consequences of that. And no, during your sleep you have an impediment. That's why if you sleep from salah, you are not going to be ithm on you, but you have to pray it as soon as you wake up. Of course, you don't go to sleep intentionally, but anyways, al-jahl, ignorance. And in this one, where the famous contemporary problems that people talked about, which is عارض الجهل, the impediment of jahl, is here, is in عوارض الأهلية. So it is not, see, now you understand that this issue of عارض الجهل, of the impediment of ignorance, is not related to عقيدة. It's a part of Usool al-Fiqh. It's عارض, it's impediment of legal capacity. It's one is the acquired impediments, and it is discussed here. So people with no knowledge, they relate it to Aqidah because some reason, but it is one of the it can be connected to Aqidah because one of its sides, but it is not all its sides. It's actually a subject, a sub section of the impediment to legal capacity, ignorance. The fourth one, al-ikrah, coercion. Coercion is somebody put you under coerce. He put the gun to your head and said, do this or do that, or somebody is threatening you to kill your kids, or to take your money, or to cut your limb, or whatever kind. And there are, of course, they divide it to two coercion. We're going to talk about it. The al-ikrah al-mulji, the extreme coercion, and al-ikrah غير الملجئ, and the coercion where a person can sustain, sustainable coercion. So this, and nisyan, forgetting. People forget. That's why in hadith Rasulullah, رفع عن أمتي الخطأ والنسيان وما أكره عليه. Ummah or Rasulullah, alhamdulillah, we are not going to be asked by Allah on our mizan about what we forgot or what we do under coercion, or what we made by mistakes. But all this has its own rulings. This impediment doesn't mean that it's completely taken out, especially in the acquired impediments. It doesn't mean that it completely remove the hukum. No, there are rulings related to what do we do then if we are under this. Then what do we do? Can we do this, or we can do anything? No, there is nothing called then I'm free to do anything. No, that's not. It cannot be. It's just so this was the third section, which is the subject of ruling, المحكوم عليه أو المكلف. The fourth one is المحكوم فيه, the subject and the subject matter of the ruling. What materialize as a ruling? This is الفعل, the act of the mukallaf, the act of the responsible subject. This act of the mukallaf is al-mahkum fi. What is it? How can we look at the act? There are three things in this category. I chose to do it this way. There are three of them. The conditions for the validity of the act, شروط صحة الفعل. What are the conditions for the act of the person to be valid? And under this comes a lot of things like a niyyah, the intention, discussion of niyyah, and what happens if the niyyah came before or after, or what happened if a niyyah happened with an act, a niyyah to do an act that is not correct, or an act that is correct but without niyyah. The shuruts, the conditions for validity. And there are things we are going to discuss. This section is very beautiful, actually, and very, very useful, especially when you talk about bid'ah and stuff. It will get you to understand how you can perceive these things. The second thing, the hardship, mashaqqa. What about the act of the person in hardship? If there is hardship, how do we approach this subject matter of the ruling? How do we look at the act of the mukallaf? The third thing is the imposing what cannot be endured, which they call taklif bima la yutaq, obligation beyond one's capacity. What are the rules? Is there anything like that in our Sharia or not? It actually it was mentioned in early on in number 1 of these 5 sections, 5 parts of Usool Fiqh, under التحسين والتقبيح. The التحسين والتقبيح, we said the good and evil, and inherited evil, inherited good and inherited evil. This comes as well, taklif bima yutaq, obligation beyond one's capacity. The fifth one is huge one. Actually it is the main and the first. It comes first when we discuss Usool Fiqh. We are going to start, because we are not going to start in this sequence. We are going to start with this one, because without understanding the language, this one, the title is Linguistic Principles of Legal Theory. We have to understand the linguistics that is related, and on which we can understand the ayahs, we can understand the hadith, we can understand the how people talk when they discuss things, because the sentiments, the syntax, the syntax, and these things that are studied in linguistics and stuff like that, the build of the sentence, it's in its own, how you build it, the context of the sentence. This is what we study in linguistic principles of the legal theory, and there are two uh, there are two sections here. One of them, it's called الدلالات, which is the indications. دلالات. There is indicative implications or usool contexts, and these usool contexts or indicative implications, they are divided to two. The two, المنطوق, explicit meaning, and المفهوم, the implied meaning. The indicative implications or non-explicit textual indications, they consist of two things: المنطوق, explicit meaning, and المفهوم, implied meaning. The المنطوق, explicit meaning, has four things to discuss: textual expression, العبارة، منطوق في المنطوق العبارة، الإشارة implication، التنبيه alert، الاقتضاء which is necessary implication, the necessary اقتضاء, it has to be this way. This is المنطوق. they call it دلالة المنطوق, the indication of explicit meaning. دلالة المفهوم, the implied meaning, they are two parts. مفهوم الموافقة, which is affirmative implication, ومفهوم المخالفة, contrary meaning or contrary application. This is the indicative implications. The semantic indications of textual expression, دلالات الألفاظ, we discuss about 9 sections: العام والخاص, general and specific, absolute and restricted, المطلق والمقيد, clear or categorical, and ambiguous and allegorical, which is المحكم والمتشابه, command and prohibition, الأمر والنهي, unclear, ambiguous and clarified, explicit, المجمل والمبين, abrogation النسخ, apparent meaning and explicit text, الظاهر والنص, interpreted according to allegorical or secondary meaning, which is التأويل أو المؤيل, المشترك synonymous, which is the word مشترك, المشترك, a word with multiple meaning, like we said before, العين or something like that. After that, there are secondary related things they discuss in usul al-fiqh, which is التعارض والترجيح. What if two rulings come in one matter and they are in conflict with each other? Conflict and preponderance. مقاصد الشريعة, objectives of Sharia, which is actually under the adilla, we will discuss under the proofs of Sharia. الاجتهاد والتقليد, the ijtihad, the legal capacity of a subject to be able to extract the rulings, which is independent reasoning on adherence of authority, which is taqlid, and then the awsaf of the mujtahid, who actually exercise this independent reasoning, and المقلد the one who follows an independent مجتهد without reasoning. So what we discussed now is the overall format of Usool al-Fiqh, and we are going to, inshallah, go over all the things. I taught it before, so don't be scared, but inshallah it's good. It's in my book I sent to you. We will go over it and we'll explain all the things, and inshallah we will start that in our next and third class. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi